Hey everyone, it's Matt Fox back with what you need to know about the markets in 5 minutes or less. In this week's video, we're going to have a resounding theme, and that is inflation. We'll be covering 4 key things. First, the returns from last week. Second, we'll be talking about the chart of the week, which is lumber. Third, we're going to be touching on some key news stories. And lastly, we're going to be giving you what you need to be focusing on for the weeks ahead. Last week, the S&P 500 and the Dow were up about 1.5%. And the surprise for the week was the Russell, which was down almost 3%. Now, the Russell's been strong throughout 2021, but last week, the Fed said that reserve requirements that were instituted before the coronavirus are now going to be back in place starting in June, which caused the financial sector to sell off last week. And that impacted the Russell because the Russell is made up of about 25% of small regional banks. Both foreign and emerging were down about 1.5% last week, and we started to see some real weakness out of China's tech names as a hedge fund here in the US that was over-leveraged was being forced to liquidate some of those positions because some of the stocks that they've purchased over the past year started to go down. And they were getting margin called, which means that they had to start selling off some of the pieces of their portfolio to cover those losses. Now I wanted to go over the chart of the week, and that is lumber. And you may be wondering, why is lumber so important? Well, if you think about it, lumber is almost in every construction project around the country. And as the price of lumber increases, and if you look at the chart, it's actually increased over 300% from just a year ago. The price of projects continue to rise, and therefore, we're seeing real inflation impacting construction projects and also new home prices. As I mentioned about housing prices, we continue to see records being broken. The housing market has gone up 17% from last year. The median price for a new home is sitting right at $328,000. And for the first time ever, the list to price sale ratio is now above 100%. And what that means is if you list your house for $300,000, prior to this, you would hope to try to get somewhere maybe around $280,000. $300,000 was a negotiation beginning. Now, as you list your house, bids are coming in above asking price, again, for the first time in history. This is just one other sign that inflation is definitely occurring. And no matter what the Treasury Secretary says, we are seeing inflation happen with our own eyes. As real assets continue to increase in value around the world, as the global spending for the pandemic has reached over $30 trillion. Now, inflation can impact you directly in 2 ways. First being, you may lose purchasing power if you do not have your money invested. Your bank account value may not go down, but what you can actually buy with your money is much less. The second is, if the government finally admits that there is inflation going on, you could see a push to raise interest rates. And the combination between inflation and rising rates could definitely be a challenge for the market ahead. Thanks for watching, and make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. See you next week.